For the past 3 years, I thought I was living in an ideal relationship. A love story that could be shared at family gatherings, in Instagram posts filled with sunshine and warm coffee cups. I'm Ethan, 29. I met Vera at a BBQ party at a friend's house. She had a bright smile, was outgoing, and before long, we went from texting to dating and eventually living together in a decent two-bedroom apartment in the downtown area. Vera is smart, charming, and has a way of making others feel special, even me. Everything was stable until about 6 months ago. Small changes started happening, subtle enough that they seemed harmless. Vera started working later, meeting with clients. She asked me for my credit card to pay for work-related expenses because the company reimburses slowly. Vera suggested managing our finances together, saying, "I'm better with numbers and you're busy." I agreed. I trusted her. Or maybe I just thought that's what a boyfriend should do. But then one Tuesday night, as I was checking the credit card statement, something I rarely paid attention to because Vera always said she already checked it, I saw large transactions at high-end fashion stores, names I'd never heard of, charges I'd never approved. I texted Vera. She didn't come home that night. Team dinner. But instead of waiting for her to explain, I decided to look into it myself. I scrolled through Instagram, where we had a lot of mutual friends, and a congratulatory message from a mutual friend's account froze me in my tracks. "The most beautiful bride of the month, wishing you both a lifetime of happiness." I clicked on the post. Vera, in a white dress, holding hands with a stranger, kissing under a floral arch. Caption: "Finally married to the love of my life. Can't wait to start the future together." Posted 3 months ago. My whole body went numb. Looking back, I realized she said she was going to Cancun with a group of female entrepreneurs. I paid for that trip. She said she needed money for emergency dental surgery. I sent the transfer. She once said, "One day we'll get married, but only when I'm financially stable enough." I hugged her, believing every word, but clearly, financially stable enough just meant a fool who believed it. I was about to call her, but my hand couldn't even lift the phone. Instead, I left the house and headed to the nearest cafe, the one we used to go to every Saturday morning. And there, fate struck me with another blow. I heard Vera's voice from the table behind the counter. "Ethan's such a fool. He still thinks I'm using his card for work. Doesn't even check the statements." Laughter. Lori's voice, Vera's best friend, followed, lower, almost with a hint of conscience. "Vera, I feel bad. Ethan's not a bad guy. You're just—" "Oh, stop it," Vera interrupted. "Robert's cheap, but at least I can live comfortably. Ethan's useful. A walking credit card." I sat there. The coffee cup was cold in my hand. Every word Vera said echoed like breaking glass. But I didn't jump up. I didn't shout. I didn't confront her. I just sat still, watched, memorized, and decided to play her game my way. That night, I didn't go home. I texted Vera saying I had an unexpected work trip. She replied, "Oh no, you didn't tell me sooner. I'll book a grab for you." I took a screenshot of the message. I started a folder. Vera, the truth. I called Kora, my sister, the only one who had warned me, "Ethan, that girl's too smooth to be real." Kora picked me up that night. She didn't say "I told you so." She just handed me a cup of tea, then opened her laptop and pulled up an Excel file. "Start listing everything you've spent this year. Now, don't leave a single penny out." Kora and I sat together almost all night. The laptop sat between us, the screen's light reflecting off my sister's face, sharp, cold, and focused as if preparing for a major lawsuit. "Start from the beginning," she said with no emotion. "Every transfer, all the times she borrowed your card, every lie she told. You remember it all, don't you?" I silently began. January. Vera said she needed $1,900 to pay for a real estate online course. I paid directly with my card. Kora noted it down. Course, unverified, suspect. February. She cried in the bathroom saying her tooth hurt and needed urgent treatment but the insurance company is slow. I transferred $850. Reality, honeymoon in Cancun. March, Vera frantically called in the middle of the night, saying she'd lost her wallet at a networking event with clients. I transferred $500. The next day, Lori sent me a picture of Vera at an Italian restaurant, celebrating 6 months of marriage with Robert. Each line I filled into the spreadsheet felt like a knife, not because of the numbers, but because of the memories I once believed were real. After 3 hours, the total came to $23,160. This didn't even include food, rent, or living expenses. Kora looked at me, her lips tight. She's not just a scam artist. She's an artist, a professional con woman. I gave a bitter smile. And her most loyal audience is me. The next day, I sent Vera a text. "Sorry I couldn't call. My schedule's packed. But I have good news. An investor just suggested a huge collaboration opportunity. Want to hear about it?" Less than 2 minutes later, she replied, "OMG, I absolutely want to. Finally, a big opportunity after all my efforts." She still thinks she has me under control. Perfect. I arranged to meet her at the Lakeside Cafe, a place with wide-angle security cameras and clear audio. Kora came along, sitting at a table behind us, her laptop ready to record. Vera walked in wearing the red dress I bought her for our first anniversary. She hugged me, smiling as though nothing had happened. I thought you were going on a business trip to another state. I smiled. My work's not as tied down as you think. She went on about her real estate appraisal startup, the hot investment opportunity if you get in early, and how all it takes is a $5,000 contribution to show financial ability. I nodded, making notes. She pulled out the contract, clearly printed from Google Docs, even showing the file name. Real Estate Dummy 2. I asked, so which of the loans you took out did you use to invest in this? Vera didn't blink. I used it all. Every dollar you gave me is in this project. I nodded, pressing the record button in my pocket. 3 p.m. I walked out of the cafe. Kora followed behind, her face unreadable. It's enough, she said. Clear recording. Solid proof. I headed straight to the bank and canceled the additional card Vera was using. I locked all online payments, changed all my email and bank app passwords. Next, I called the landlord. I explained that Vera had secretly gotten married and didn't meet the qualifications to stay with me under the unregistered cohabitation clause. They agreed. I was granted the right to remove Vera from the lease unilaterally, thanks to the evidence I provided. That evening, I packed all of her belongings. Each item was labeled, Memories Non-Returnable. I called the moving service, instructing them to deliver all the boxes to Vera's office. I included a note. Congratulations to you and Robert. See you in court, love. Monday morning arrived just like any other day, but I knew today would be different. Today wasn't just about Vera facing the consequences. Today, I was reclaiming justice for myself and for Robert, the husband she had hidden like he didn't exist. I sat in a cafe across from Vera's office, a perfect spot. I could watch everything without being noticed. 9:02 a.m., I texted Lori. It's time. After weeks of being torn between friendship and the truth, Lori finally chose the right side. She had all the wedding photos, texts of Vera mocking me, and the plan to scam money. Most importantly, Lori had a conscience. 9:17 a.m., I saw Robert walk up, dressed in a sharp suit, phone in hand, his face stiff like he was about to enter a battlefield. Lori had sent him all the evidence the night before, the location, the time, and the plan. He walked into the building. No knock, no warning. He just slammed the glass door open and shouted, loud enough for everyone in the cafe across the street to hear. 3 years? 3 years and you treated me like a fool? I set my coffee cup down and looked through the glass. Everyone in the cafe stopped. Some pulled out their phones to record. Inside, Vera stood frozen, her face pale, stammering like someone had squeezed the breath out of her. Robert, it's not what you think. Then who is this? Robert held up his phone, showing pictures of me and Vera traveling, shopping, hugging each other in my living room. And what about that investment contract you said you needed money for? $5,000? Whose money was that? I did, I whispered to myself, not taking my eyes off the screen. I did. Vera's manager rushed out, trying to mediate, but Robert wasn't having it. I'll sue you for fraud. I'll ruin the life you built with other people's money, and I'll make sure everyone knows who you really are. Vera started crying, not because of remorse, but because she'd been exposed. She turned to Lori, who had just walked in. Did you do this? Did you betray me? Lori trembled but nodded. I couldn't watch you destroy anyone else's life, she said. I've stayed silent for too long. And then I stepped in. When Vera saw me, her expression shifted from panic to madness. You set me up? You think you've won now? I didn't say anything. I just raised my phone. The recording from our cafe meeting played. I used the money you invested to take care of everything. No worries. Robert heard it. He stepped back, his face filled with disbelief. You not only lied to me, but you also deceived others to keep me? To let me live off other people's money? No, I didn't. Robert didn't let her finish. You gave me your wedding ring while holding on to memories with this guy. He pointed at me. You don't deserve to be looked down upon. The manager stood frozen. The staff gathered, holding up their phones. A few people quietly backed away, afraid of getting involved. I looked at Vera, her mascara smudged, her clothes wrinkled, looking like she was about to collapse. You once called me a walking ATM, but now I'm the one who's bankrupting your reputation. I handed her the lawsuit papers to reclaim the $30,000, every penny. With evidence, the court will handle the rest. As I turned to leave, Vera yelled after me, Ethan, you'll regret this. I swear. I turned around, smiled, and said, No, Vera, the only one who needs to regret is you. That evening, Kora and I had dinner, just something simple, pasta and white wine. She said, You don't need to seek revenge anymore. The court will do the rest. I nodded, but inside I felt at peace. No more resentment, just emptiness and relief. I didn't go straight home after the justice performance this morning. I stopped by an old bar, the place where Vera and I had celebrated our first anniversary. Same place, same table, but the feeling was different. I sat alone, ordered a bourbon. Neat. Not to get drunk, just to close a chapter. Messages from Lori kept popping up on my phone. She was sending me the latest chats. Vera's friends were leaving the group one by one after everything came to light. One person wrote, "I can't believe I ever bought into the perfect life she portrayed." Another person sent me a private message. "Thank you for exposing this. If you hadn't, more people would have fallen victim." I didn't respond. I just saved everything. Even though I felt lighter, I knew there was still work to do. The next day I went to the bank. I handed over all the evidence of Vera's financial fraud carried out under the guise of investing, account statements, transactions, recordings, and forged contracts. The bank manager, an older man, picked up the files, looked at me intently and asked, "Did she really do all of this?" I nodded. Not just with me. She did it to her legal husband too. I've seen a lot of fraud cases, but this is truly organized. We'll handle it from here. Kora and I continued pushing the case to civil court. With the $30,000 she stole, we could file in small claims court and recover most of it. Amy, my lawyer, made it clear. We don't need any more drama. Stay silent and let the law do its job. I nodded. There was no anger left to erupt. It was time to rebuild. 3 days later, Vera was fired from her company. Not because of the drama with Robert, but because they discovered she had stolen client information to use for the fake startup she had once pitched to me. An email from Vera's manager to the partners read, "We regret to inform you that Vera has violated serious professional ethics and will no longer represent the company as of today." Robert, the husband who was deceived, called me. We met for the first time, without the anger. Just two men who had escaped a nightmare. "She used to call me her safe person," he said, his voice dry. "I was the walking ATM," I replied. We clinked glasses. Not to celebrate, but to bid farewell to an era of lies. The day the court sent the notice of case acceptance, I was washing my car in front of my house when I saw Vera walking by. No more expensive car in front of her, just a faded old hatchback. She stopped, looked at me. No sign, no words. I just nodded and turned away. Because now I truly didn't need her to suffer for me to feel at ease. That night, Kora came over. She brought pizza and 2 cans of beer. "Are you okay?" she asked. "You know," I said, "it feels like after a house burns down. Painful, devastated, but clean. No more rotting things I kept thinking were important." Kora stayed quiet. She understood. I started living again. I changed the bed sheets, threw away everything Vera had touched. I took down old photos, put the anniversary ring in a box, and sent it back to her mom's house via express mail. On the note, I just wrote, "Returning memories to the wrong person. Hope you keep them safe." A week later, I opened my heart to someone new. Emily, a friend of Kora's, an elementary school teacher. She's understanding. She knows Vera's name. She knows Robert's name. But when I told her the story, she simply said, "We all trust the wrong people at some point. The important thing is whether you can still keep kindness for yourself after that." I don't know if I can, but I'll try. Saturday morning, the sky is clear. Sunlight pours through the window, casting shadows on the wooden floor I just cleaned yesterday. The apartment is eerily quiet. No more sneaky keyboard tapping at midnight. No more strange perfume in the bathroom when I come home from work. No more Vera. I sat down at the table, took a sip of black coffee, and checked my phone. There was a new notification from the civil court. Lawsuit accepted. Trial date, 15 months from now. I immediately sent a screenshot to Kora and Amy, the two people who had been with me through the darkest times. Kora replied with a sticker of a fox wearing glasses and the words, "And now the final chapter begins." As for Vera, I didn't need to chase after her to know where she was going. News found its way to me, through Lori, through old friends, and sometimes through social media, where she once carefully crafted the image of a successful businesswoman, the ideal wife, the perfect girlfriend. Now it was all reduced to ashes. I got a message from Lori. Robert's filed for divorce. Vera's mom's in the hospital from high blood pressure. She said the whole family should hang their heads in shame because of her. Vera's texting everyone, wishing if she can crash at their place. But no one believes her anymore. She used to have 2 lives, one as Robert's wife and the other as Ethan's perfect girlfriend. Now both have crumbled. It all came to a head one afternoon when I was on my way home and saw Vera standing outside the apartment complex. No designer dress, no makeup, just an old coat, messy hair, swollen eyes. I almost walked by, but she called out, "Ethan!" I stopped. I didn't turn around. "Can you forgive me, even just a little?" I took a deep breath and turned to face her, the one who made me believe in a shared future, but now, just a name in a lawsuit. "Forgive you? Yes, I forgive you because I don't want to hold on to that anger anymore. But forget, no, and coming back, never." She trembled. I could see her broken gaze. No longer the pride that once made her think she was smarter than everyone else. "You know, Maya," she said, her voice cracking, "Robert never held me when I cried, but you trusted me." I nodded. "Yes, and you drove that trust into my heart like a knife, but I didn't die. I just stopped being stupid. I walked away, not looking back. 3 weeks later, I went to court. Vera didn't have a lawyer, just a thin folder of documents. She tried to avoid my gaze. Amy, on the other hand, had all the evidence: recordings, bank statements, contracts, and a confession. The judge looked over the entire case and sighed. With the amounts stolen and clear evidence, the defendant has no way to refute this. The court orders that the plaintiff be reimbursed the full $30,000 plus legal fees. I nodded, no applause, no smug satisfaction, just justice in its rightful place. As for Robert, he sent me a message after the trial. Thank you for showing me the truth. If not, I could have spent another 10 years living in illusion. I simply replied, we both came back from the rubble. Now I meet Emily every weekend. She doesn't ask about Vera. She doesn't bring up the past. She's just there when I need someone to share with. Truly. One evening she asked, if you could choose again, would you still want to date Vera from the beginning? I paused for a moment, then nodded. Yes, because if it weren't for Vera, I wouldn't know the limits of trust or the value of self-respect. Emily smiled. Well, then it was worth living again. And so the story ends here. If this journey moved or inspired you, hit like, share, and subscribe to keep me motivated to tell more stories where the truth shines and people are reborn. Don't hesitate to leave a comment below. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next story. Goodbye.